IVM.
Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of the Musafir Stories, India's very own travel podcast, where each week we discuss the story of travelers in their own words and relive their experiences with you, our listeners.
Hi, guys, welcome to an all new episode of the Musafir Stories. Before we get started, a big shout out to our listeners who take time to write to us and leave us reviews. Thank you, guys. Your reviews are awesome, and so is your encouragement. As for today's episode, we have a good friend and a trekking enthusiast, Divyam Goenka, on the podcast. Let's jump on to find out more.
So, with that introduction, I'd like to welcome Divyam Goenka, a very, very special guest and possibly one of our youngest guests also to the Musafir Stories. Divyam, thank you so much for being a part of the podcast and welcome.
Hey, sir. Thank you. The pleasure is all mine to be on the Musafir Stories. Being the youngest speaker till date, yeah.
Yeah, we're really glad to have you and looking forward to a fun conversation. But people might be a little curious as to what this young chap who perhaps is in, should be studying at this time is doing on a podcast. So why don't you tell our listeners a little bit more about what you do and where you're based?
Yeah, so I am just a second year media studies student from Christ University and I love organizing treks. So let's get into the details about it a bit later. So, will that be fine? Yeah, I think so. We will be enlightening our audience a little later about the treks.
Wonderful. We'll do that. And what we also usually do on the Musafir Stories, right? Divyam is whenever we have a guest, we request them to take us and our listeners on a trip, on a trek, whatever it is that they've done in the past. And with that in mind, where would you like to take our listeners to today?
So I will be taking us and our audience today to Savanadurga, which is, I'll say, one of the India's biggest monolith, which is situated like around 70 kilometers from Bangalore. So yeah, that's our place tonight.
Okay, wonderful. And just adding to that point, apparently it is, I don't know if this is for real, I'll have to do my fact check, but one of the biggest monolith in Asia, not just India, right?
Yeah, Asia, right, Asia.
Yeah,
you're right,
so
it is.
That's wonderful and it's pretty close by from Bangalore, as you mentioned. You will do this trek, Divyam?
So the first time I went for a Savanadurga trek was last year, January. To be precise, it was 28th January.
Okay.
And I went for the trek with my friend, a very good friend of mine, Prithvi. So we just decided, both of us love trekking, and Savanadurga was my first trek around Bangalore. I have been trekking all throughout Himachal and, terrains of Sikkim, but the south terrain was super new to me. So we were like, just, let's explore the trails around Bangalore. So Savanadurga is one of the most popular ones, and we just started with that.
Sure. That's absolutely right, and it's one of the popular treks, as you mentioned, a popular weekend destination for a lot of young trekkers.
Exactly. Yeah. I'll say the most popular one.
As you also did touch upon at the beginning, it's about 70 kilometers from Bangalore. So tell us, how did you plan for this trek? I know it's pretty close by, and it might not have taken like a whole lot of packing and planning like you would do if you were going far away.
Nothing. So it was just a holiday, like any other normal holiday, and we just planned that let's just do this. So we just left like around 10 o'clock in the morning, and both of us left. We just rented a scooter and left for the place. Reached the place around 12:30, 1 o'clock. Started trekking around 1:30 per se. So we didn't carry any water bottles. We didn't have proper trekking shoes because we just planned out of the blue. Like you got up, went for breakfast. Like, what's up? Let's go for a trek. It was very, 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 very unplanned. Yeah,
that's how I like it. And I wish I could roll back the years and go back to that carefree. Now I think I've just become old and boring, and I have to start planning things quite in advance. Otherwise, I just fall for anxiety attacks, I think so. Anyway, but I think it's a great way to do it. And in one way, this trek is, I guess, moderate, I would say, right?
For a first timer, I'll say it's a little longer because the terrain for a North Indian, the terrain will be pretty new because it's too rocky. There's absolutely no forest per se. It's just since it's a monolith, it's just like pure mountains with like steep places at some point of time. So yeah, it's slightly on the tougher side for a first timer, but on an average, I'll rate it like 2.5 to 3 on a difficulty scale out of 5.
Okay, and perhaps January is I guess a relatively better time to do this, right? Given that it's not...
Definitely, yeah. November to March would be a good time because again, rainy season will be a lot of chaos there. Yeah, yep. So the terrain will get too wet. So it'll be very slippery. Yep. So I will definitely not recommend the trek during rainy seasons.
And also another, I guess, fairly recent event is that night trekking has been banned here, I understand. Is that right?
Exactly. So the tourism department of Karnataka, the forest and the tourism department of Karnataka, they have strictly banned night trekking at all the mountains around Bangalore and in Karnataka as a whole. There are only some places open for night trekking, which is Kandagiri again, which is super strict and moderated by the forest department as well. So yeah, they are pretty strict with it now.
Okay, yeah, because I just brought it up because some of them tried to kind of bypass that and do a night trek. A bunch of software engineers, ironically, and they ended up losing their way and had to scamper for help. And finally, somehow one of them managed to make a call to the local police authorities, and again there was like literally a sort of manhunt that they went on.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Plus, during the nights, forest fires are also a major, threat to the entire area because people used to bonfire, organize a bonfire during the nights.
Absolutely.
And they just go, they just leave the bonfire as it is, which is again a real threat to forest fires. So that's one more concern from the forest department to the local trekkers.
Exactly. I think that's a very valid point. So yeah, it's a day trek and preferably not in the rainy season, as Divyam mentioned. Just to give you a little more of an orientation as to what the place is. I believe there's like 2 peaks or 2 hillocks of one sort. So summits, right? Yeah, the Kyuriosity and the Bangalore, I understand. And the Bangalore is the easier one that you perhaps scaled, right? That's the one?
Yeah.
Okay. And also, I think in the vicinity of this monolith is also the Arakavati River, right? Tributary of the Kaveri that passes close by, and there's a dam and a reservoir as well. I guess once you reach the peak, this is perhaps on a clear day, you can get a sight of these as well, I'm assuming, right?
It's one hell of a view. I mean, it's breathtaking when you see it from the summit.
Wonderful. And before we actually get into how your trek went, I also wanted to call upon the historical significance of the place also, right? Because apparently, I don't know if that was ASI, but one of the government departments, right, while they were doing a recce of the area, some urns and utensils and copper coins, etc., were found here that belonged to over 2,000 years ago. So that's how far ago, I guess, some sort of civilization existed here, and
that's a real piece of information.
And in the more recent past, it's related to the rulers from the Hoysala kingdom as well as the founders of Bangalore, right? Kempegowda. So it's been associated, like they have had something or the other to do with the cave. Like Kempegowda had a fort built there. We'll touch upon the fort that you guys perhaps passed through while on the trek. Even kings of Mysore, the warriors of Mysore, and Hyder Ali. These guys had, in one way or the other, something to do with the hill. So it has a lot of historical significance as well. Geographically, the biggest monolith in Asia, but also historically, a lot of connections. So that way, it makes it all the more, I think, exciting to go on this trek.
Exciting and significant at the same time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If some of you guys are still having second thoughts about why you should go there, I think together we have given you a handful of reasons as to why it's a good idea for a weekend, especially if you're in Bangalore. Now, tell us a little bit more. What was the starting point? You said you got here around noon or just a little bit after noon. What was the starting point of this trek?
So the starting point of the trek is near the temple, which is situated at the base camp. I would like to mention it as the base camp. So there's a small shop where you can get water and the normal biscuits or say coconut water and other requirements. So the name of the person of the shop is, I guess, Mr. Anvay, if I remember it rightly, and he is super sweet. If at all you're planning to go to Savanadurga, do have a breakfast or lunch from that place. I would definitely recommend that because that's the only shop in the entire vicinity, and he's super sweet to all the trekkers who come there for trekking.
Wonderful.
So,
And I guess it also makes sense to, refill or stock yourselves up when you hit the peak.
Definitely.
If you want to spend some time, because we talk about 2.5 hours, almost 3 hours one way. So that way you might want to stock yourself up before you are heading out for the trek, right?
2 to 3 liters of water at least I would recommend per person, when they're planning to start the trek. Because if at all, while going up, it's easy. But when you descend and you short on water, it gets really sunny. So if you get dehydrated, you might feel a little dizzy while descending, and that's very risky.
Especially given that, I guess, stretches of the trek are quite steep also, right? In some places. So
yeah, it's quite steep.
It'd be better advice to stock yourselves up, and I guess also carry some energy bars and stuff like that.
Yeah, a Gatorade or a Red Bull would do. Yeah,
exactly. Well, once you're at the foot, you've had a little bit of a fill for yourself, a little meal, and then
perfect. Yeah, so after that there's a trail for around 2 to 300 meters, and then you have to take a left. This hill starts, and then it's very easy. You'll find it very easy in the first 5 to 10 minutes. But after those first 10 minutes, the real trek starts. And it's a little steep, goes on even steeper, slightly more steeper. And then, once you get accustomed to the terrain, it's a piece of cake.
In terms of the trail in itself, right? Is it well marked?
If you are starting the trek around, say, 6:30, 7 o'clock, it'll be easy for you to... all you need is a torch or a flashlight also would do to, find the...
No, in the sense, do you have directions or arrow marks or stuff like that for you to guide you which way?
Yeah, once you start the trek, there are arrow marks directly till the summit. So there are arrow marks at every, say, 10 to 15 meters. Mm-hmm. So it's super simple for a first timer, or even if you're just going alone to the place. It's super easy.
So I guess that way you're pretty safe in one way, right? There's no possibility of you getting lost or anything unless you're doing it super early or anything, that there's even no people around you to guide you, right?
People rarely get lost there, but since it's completely a hill, there's no other direction or there's not at all some bushes or anything. It's just a single mountain.
One more hack I saw, this is just while I was looking at some reviews about the trek, right? One more hack some people suggested was to just follow the electric poles. I don't know how dated that is, but that was another hack that was given.
Exactly. That is completely valid, and I would suggest the same. The electric poles go directly till the summit. So following the electric poles is one other way where you can save yourself from getting lost.
Wonderful. And tell us about what are you seeing around you as you head up the hill, head up the trek?
Okay, so I will take the entire trip through Bangalore. So for that we have to, if you're traveling from say Bangalore Road, you have to go through Nice Road to reach Savanadurga. And Nice Road, again, it's super beautiful when you just drive through in the morning. On both the sides, it's just quite beautiful. And then you go to the Kanakpura Road and then finally reach Kempegowda. Then after Kempegowda you take a right there's a college, and from there you take a right, and from there it's pretty much straight. You go through the dam and reach Savanadurga. From there, when you start the trek 200 meters, and 200 meters just like a forest area, and then the trek starts. It's pretty rocky. So that's pretty much about the terrain of the trek.
Okay. The other thing that I saw some other people mention was that there's apparently the fort walls as well that one can see during the trek. Did you comment that too?
There was not a fort there. We didn't locate a fort per se, but yeah, there's at Summit 1 there's a wall from where you can actually like stand and see a clear view of the surrounding and the entire area.
Okay. I'll just look that up and add that to the show notes if there's more information available about that. Because one of the other reasons, I don't know if the name is actually derived from that, but apparently during the time of Hyder Ali, Tipu Sultan, this served as, Savanadurga served as a prison also, a fort prison. And
Whoa.
I think it was just a slang. It wasn't the actual meaning of the translation of the word. They used to call it Savanadurga, which means the fort of death, basically.
Okay.
It was a way to dole out hardcore punishment just to leave them there to die or something like that. I still am not sure if this was on the I told you, right, the Kariguda and the Biliguda. So Biliguda is the easy one, the ones which you guys perhaps trekked. Yeah, that's is one of the reasons that they call it Savanadurga also. That's a little bit of trivia. Even I only came to know about this while doing a little bit of research for the episode. But yeah, I guess it's good to know for the listeners also a little bit of history again associated to the place.
Exactly.
Now,
Yeah.
as you're heading up the trail, right? How much time before you hit the summit? You said.
So it usually, like I said, for the second summit, the final one, it takes somewhere around 2.5 hours. If you're used to trekking, if at all you're taking breaks in I won't suggest taking long breaks because it'll make you more and more tired. So take smaller sips of water and just head to, if you say finish half a liter of water at once, you will find it super difficult because you'll sweat a lot at the same time. So take small sips of water and start trek, go on.
I think that's really necessary to keep yourself hydrated and have energy bars if you feel like low on energy or anything. There's not a super long trek that'll drain you out, but even if there's like a slight inkling of that, I think it's best to hydrate yourself well and keep eating. Now, once you're at the summit, right? Describe to us the view from the summit, Divyam.
Yeah, so describing the view from the summit, I'll be just describing the view from the second summit because from the first summit, it's not as high as the second summit, obviously. So from the second summit, you go to the temple and a little far ahead from the temple, you can spot the Agrawati river. And they're like pure greenery towards like all four sides, like lush green fields. So it's definitely a beautiful view around. If at all you're lucky enough to reach the summit around say 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning, you might see the sunrise. Not exactly the sunrise because sunrise usually takes place around 6:30, 6:45, which is if you follow the rules and start the trek by say 5:36 p.m. And if you're a fast trekker, you will reach by 6:30, 7 o'clock. So again, I will recommend that for people who love watching sunrises. So definitely try your best to reach the place before the sunrise or at least while the sun is about to come up. So the view is breathtaking. It's definitely worth it. Every single minute spent on the trek will be worth it when you see the view from the summit.
I'm sure it is, and especially I keep mentioning this during some of the other episodes also, for people who are used to living in this concrete jungle, a breath of fresh air and the cool breeze, plus these majestic views of say the Arkavati Dam or Arkavati River and the I think the dam also, right? I mentioned it's called the Mancha Belay Dam or something.
Yeah, it's on the way. Yeah, it comes on the way to Savanadurga.
Exactly. All of them, they come as a breath of fresh air, literally, right? So I'm sure it's a great sight from there. And also touching a little bit Nandi statue, right? I don't think it's a temple per se, but it's a little statue right at the top of the summit.
Yeah, it's just a Nandi sitting on like a covered space.
Yeah, like a little chhatri, right?
Yeah, that's a small chhatri with a bell. That's one of
the iconic spots of the trek also.
Yeah, recently when I trekked Savanadurga, say 15 days back, there's a new addition at the summit, which is the Karnataka flag. You can spot the Karnataka flag now at the summit.
Okay, interesting. So, watch out for the yellow and red Karnataka flag also. New new addition by some of our own people, I'm sure. And I'm glad that your first trekking experience was a great one. And it was all smooth sailing after this. Like, did you guys spend some time here, start heading down?
Yeah, so we just spent around half an hour to 45 minutes at the summit. One can't spend a lot of time because it's too windy up there. The elevation is around 1,200 meters.
Yep. I think we should have perhaps mentioned that at the beginning, but yeah, good thing you brought it up now. It's around 1,200 meters. So
1,200 meters.
And after this, did you have anything planned again to see around the vicinity, or did you guys just head back to the foot?
No, yeah, so after, descending, we just stopped for our lunch at Anvaya sir's place. So if you, the moment, if you say in a group of 15 or 20 people, so you can request him for a specific thing also, say if you want sitar idli or any other thing, say dosa as well. So he will specifically make it for you. And he charges like nominal 30 to 35 bucks per meal. So that's again very pocket friendly for a person.
Okay, and I think that's a good tip also, in the sense if you're going there in a group, you can pre-place the order right before you head off on the trek. You could just place the order, and then by the time you're back, I think food is also ready for you.
We'll have fresh food, yeah.
So I think that's also a great tip, because I'm sure, given that this is a little bit off of city limits, there might not be a lot of other options, right?
Exactly. There are very few options, and Anvaya sir is definitely the best one.
Wonderful. And a couple of other things also that I looked up was you're interested in other activities, adventure activities, say like kayaking. Apparently there is that option if you drive towards the dam. There's a couple of options there.
There is the option of kayaking. So once you cross the dam, there's a point where you can see the entire river flowing after the dam. So there are a couple of people who organize kayaking. So if you're lucky enough, you can spot one and head towards kayaking as well.
Wonderful. Yeah. So if you still have time on hand, and if you're one of those who did this early in the morning and you're back by midday, I think there's another good way to spend the rest of the or whatever little time, right? Half of a day you have. So you can definitely spend that doing one of these adventure activities if you're up for it. All in all, I think it sounds like a perfect day trip, right? To break away.
Yeah, it's a day escape, perfect day escape. Yeah. So if you're like, tired of your 9 to 5 job or college or anything else, I would say Savanadurga is a perfect getaway for you for a day. It'll give you that, that feeling of Zindagi na milegi dobara kind of thing.
Definitely, at least it's a start. If not anything, it's a start. And if not even that, I think it's certainly a good way to refresh you, right, for the new week or the new month or whatever's coming up. So I think that's a great idea to spend a weekend there. And now that we have covered most of the trek and things to do around Savanadurga as well, tell us a little bit more about your interest with treks and what you plan to do with it.
Yeah, for the first time, like I said in January, when I went to Savanadurga with Prithvi, it was a very casual trekking experience for us. But after that, we have a small community called Indest, where, the peers, we work together for a social cause. So we planned that let's plan an icebreaker session in the form of a trek. So both of us suggested that let's go on Savanadurga Trek, and we organized a trek to Savanadurga. We left around, say 12:30, 1 o'clock in the night, and reached the place by, let's say, 4 o'clock, rested there for like 1.5 to 2 hours, started the trek at 6 o'clock. And the entire experience was, more than, much better than what we expected, all of us. We were somewhere around 40 people.
Oh, wow. That's a big group.
Yeah, that was a big group, and every single one of them, they enjoyed every single moment at the trek. And the community has grown, a lot better and bigger after the trek. And after organizing that trek with the Indus community, we started organizing it more often. So the second one I organized with my own class. That was second JP English, and somewhere around 25 people from my own class we went for the trek. And after that we continued trekking one after the other. We organized a third trek, fourth, fifth, sixth, and it's going on.
What do you call yourselves?
Yeah, we call ourselves as Kyuriosity, and starts with the K. Kyuriosity.
It's brilliant. How many treks down is Kyuriosity now?
Yeah, we have completed somewhere, I'd say 8 to 9 treks. And in number of trekkers, 350 plus trekkers.
Brilliant. That's brilliant. And is Curiosity open to everyone, or is this a Christ University thing, Divyam?
No, it's open to everyone. So for the last to last trek, we had somewhere around 160 people from 10 to 12 different universities from Bangalore. So that was the biggest trek. We organized a trek for 160 people.
God. It probably becomes a bit of a headache finding a place, right, for such a big group.
Exactly. It was like one heck of a job to, manage the entire trek for the time being.
And tell us a little bit more how to get in touch with you or get in touch with Curiosity if they're interested in a trek.
So you can follow us on Instagram. We call us Curiosity Official. I can suggest you where are we planning our next trek and which trek might be comfortable for you. So that we can contact me and Curiosity.
Wonderful. And usually what is the frequency of treks? Like, do you do these often, or how is this managed?
So most probably we organize the treks every second week. So if they're on an average, we organize 2 treks a month, and we avoid rainy season. So we organize in the month of November to March. So say 2 treks per month, so 5 months, 10 treks in a year.
I think it's a great initiative, and I'm really happy and proud that you guys have started this early, because I was a little bit of a late bloomer, or boomer. I know. I started pretty late with respect to travel, and I think it was almost after my first job that I actually took up traveling a little more seriously than I should have, and that's one thing I always look back at, and looking at young folks like you picking this up really early, right from college, right? It makes me happy, and I wish you all the best. I wish Curiosity all the best. We will definitely...
Thank you so much, Saf. So regarding travel and inspirations, recently I had the privilege to meet Bruce Passports. Yeah, I met Bruce Passports at the Under 25 Summit. Both of them, Vid and Savi, they are so good, and they are the sweetest and the nicest people I've ever, come across in my life. They are, the loveliest people. I'm just saying it over again and again, but yeah, they deserve to be with each other. They're so good.
I'm sure they are. And big shout out to Bruce Passports. And we haven't been lucky enough to get them yet, but maybe I'll use you as a reference and reach out to them and give it a shot. What do you say?
Perfect. I will personally recommend Musafir Stories to Vid and Savi.
Thank you so much, Divyam. I think it's been a wonderful journey for us also, and it was really refreshing in terms of talking to youngsters like you and finding out your view of travel, right? And as I said earlier, it's great that you guys are picking this up so early. Hopefully Curiosity goes on and reaches newer heights, no pun intended.
Thank you so much, and I wish Musafir Stories the same thing. I mean, it's a privilege to be on a podcast like Musafir Stories.
Thank you, it's our pleasure. Thank you, Divyam.
Yeah, thank you, Saf.
That was yet another great episode of the Musafir Stories. If you guys like the show, please subscribe to us on iTunes or Apple Podcasts, Audioboom, Savan, Pocket Casts, Castbox, Stitcher, or any other podcasting app available on iOS or Android. Please do leave us a review on iTunes. It goes a long way in the show's discoverability. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. We go by the handle The Musafir Stories. Or, if it suits you, you could email us at themusafirstories@gmail.com or visit our website at www.themusafirstories.com for more information. All of these links will be made available in the show notes section of each episode. So here's to more traveling, sharing, and inspiring. Stay tuned for our next episode. Until then, happy travels and goodbye.